It's my second American album, though in English. And the previous one I put out called Exodus was a very experimental kind of album. And I have like an underground following, kind of like closet fans from that. But this time I wanted to make an album that was more relatable and more accessible to like American audience in general, like connect with a wider audience with good pop music. And I think I did achieve that. There's a little bit of R&B, a little bit of urban sounds in it, but in general it's it's more of a mainstream sound. I am. I didn't expect this many people to turn up. I did the Sephora event at LA and then in New York, and Fifth Avenue was just like it was like chaos on Fifth Avenue, and I felt like I was watching old Beatles footage. And I was surprised. I don't really do that in Japan either. So it was like the first time I got that kind of like my car surrounded by a big group of people and I can't get out of the car kind of thing. And it was I felt so lucky, and, like surprised in a good way. I felt very blessed. Again, pleasantly surprised. Inspiration. What is my inspiration for all my albums? I'm just always making music. Well, that's why it took me 4.5 years till I did my second American album. But I just do whatever I feel like doing, so I put out 2 Japanese albums during the last 4.5 years, because I felt like working on Japanese music. And last year I felt like working on American music. It was about time, and the label that I work with in America, Island Def Jam, they were like, when are you doing your next English one? So I finally said I would do it. Just try to have as many people as I can try to give my stuff a listen. Yeah. No. I've done a few like cameo appearances on Japanese TV, like TV dramas and stuff. But I am not for acting. It means to be neither, in a sense, to be neither American nor Japanese, to be always an outsider wherever I am. I think a lot of bicultural people have that feeling. Like I'm both American and Japanese, but when I'm in America, people look at me as a Japanese person because I don't look like I don't have the Asian American look, I look Japanese. So people tell me, oh, your English is so good. And I'm like, yeah, well, yours is pretty good too. And then when I'm in Japan, people look at me as a bit of a foreign person, American, because I speak English as well, and I was born in New York. So I just got used to finding my own identity and being a bit of a foreigner wherever I am. And I feel comfortable being an outsider. I've been listening to a lot of old stuff. It's been hard for me to find interesting stuff among the new music that's coming out. I do like Sigur Rós, but mostly I've been listening to like Chick Corea, James Brown, Kato Twins. I like taking walks. Like in New York, it's a good place because it's a good place for walking. And I like to go to small museums and just big museums too. Just galleries and museums in the city. And I read. I have to read a lot of books in my house. I like novels mainly, but I also read a lot of. It's like the one I'm reading right now. I usually have one Japanese one and one English one. And the Japanese one is like a book of teachings by shamans. And the one in English is called Our Bastard Tongue. It talks about the origins of English language. It's really interesting. anything spicy, um, like Vietnamese food, Thai food, Chinese like Sichuan food. And it's also a treat for me because I can't really eat spicy food when I'm singing and we're doing a lot of work. So when I have like a day off or 2 days off, or when I'm not recording or singing, I get to go out and eat as much like spicy stuff as I want, and then I feel really my stress just like goes off. Lately, I've been buying a lot of stuff on iTunes. Um, but then some CDs are really hard to find, like really old stuff from like the 60s. So then I go to like Amazon to order CDs. I don't go to CD stores that much. Although I go to Borders, the big bookstore. I have like a Borders rewards card, and they have CDs there, so I do shop there occasionally. I listen mostly off my iPod, my laptop. I usually, well, I haven't done that many performances in America. I've done like two TV things. I have the band that I use for Japan as well, like same members. I don't have a crush on him. I just like the actor. Um, well, maybe. Um, well, there was like an 80s motif to that song. I mentioned Captain Picard in my song Merry Christmas, Mr. Lawrence, FYI. I said, like, Captain Picard, I'm chilling and flossing. Because I think he's like such a cool guy, and that actor is so cool. And I sampled a song from the 80s, Forbidden Colors by Ryuichi Sakamoto. That's why I mentioned Captain Picard. But I don't have a crush on him. I don't watch TV much, and I really don't watch TV dramas. I don't think I've ever watched a TV drama like all the way through. I watch like news shows and like Conan O'Brien and Law and Order. Law and Order I do watch. It's my favorite show. Yes. Family Guy is my favorite. That's my favorite. I looked it up on YouTube. And I appear as a waitress and I pour water. But I did like I had like two NG scenes because I could pour the water right, or I looked too unpleasant. Oh yes, I actually made a bear costume, and the model after my teddy bear, and I still have it. So I will be doing something eventually. I visited my record company in the bear suit. That was the footage I shot. And I paid for everything, and I paid for the bear costume. It cost like more than $10,000. I don't know, I'm just really, now that I'm doing all this American stuff, I'm seeing how loyal a fan base I have in the States, and it's such a pleasant surprise. I had no idea, really, until I began doing this promotional stuff in America, and that it just made me really glad that I began doing this, like the American album stuff, and that I'm here in the States promoting my stuff right now. I just feel so thankful and just happy to know that I do have such great fans here. I just want to thank everyone.